Hello, my friends. Hello. It's Matthew Street, and welcome to my channel. As always, I truly appreciate you being here. And folks, I'm going to do something I have not done in a while. I am going to hop on a thread. Yes, I am, folks, because yesterday I was watching a great, fabulous new video, and I will put the link to his channel below. I will pin it in the comments. Folks, go to his channel, Sam St. John. Great guy, young guy, great personality, great knowledge of music. He is so adept to different genres, different artists, and he shows the love on his channel for all these artists. And I love Sam. We've done a video together recently, and he's just a great guy. And he did a thread yesterday, and basically the title of the video was, "Can a new album or a newer album knock your socks off?" And then he went on to show some albums that within the last 10 years or so that have really blown him away. Because like he was saying in his video, folks, you know, a lot of people complain about music today, and I'm one of them. New music today for the most part, or I should say the mainstream popular music on like the top 40 is pretty lousy today. I mean, put on a top 40 radio station, and if you have any musical class, so to speak, you'll be immediately turned off by what unfortunately is out there today and being pushed on the younger people as popular music. But there is still great new music out there, and I know it's an old cliche. You gotta hunt for it, you gotta search for it, and some people get like, I don't want to hunt, I don't want to search. Folks, unfortunately, you have to take other people's recommendations like this. You have to watch videos where people are trying to show you new music and recommending it to you. And that's the way you discover new things. I've discovered so much great new music from being here on YouTube and watching my friends' videos and other people's videos. And then the way they talk and describe this newer music that they have, I say, geez, I gotta check that out. And a lot of times, rather than I can't plunk down the money all the time, I'll sample it and I'll go, darn it, that's fabulous. That's great new rock and roll music. I'm gonna get it. And that's what I do, folks. So what I've done here is I want to jump on this thread and I want to show you new albums, albums within the last 10 years or so that have really knocked my socks off. And I have two piles here. I have like an honorable mention pile, and then I have my top ones that have really knocked my socks off. I cheated on two of them that are in either pile. One of them is about 11 years old. It came out in 2011, so I'm going to throw that in anyway because it's an album that really knocked my socks off. And then there's another one that technically it came out like 20 years ago, but the reissue deluxe version, double disc version, just came out in 2012. So it's an album I adore. It's in my top echelon pile of albums that I still listen to in heavy rotation to this day. So I'm going to include it because the reissue was within 10 years. So I consider it a newer release. But you need to hear this album. It's that good. So folks, I'm going to get right into it. And as I said, thank you, Sam, for starting this thread. I'm happy to be part of it and hoping we can spark other people to jump on the thread. Let's see some albums that have come out within the last 10 years, new music that has really knocked your socks off. So here we go. The first is I'm going to double a twofer. Liam Gallagher, lead frontman, lead singer from Oasis, put out this one's called As You Were, his first solo album, and then his second solo album was Why Me, Why Not, and here you go, great new music from Liam Gallagher in very much the style and rocking nature of Oasis, and he knocked it out of the park with these two folks. New albums within the last 10 years, and they are fabulous. Check them out. Honorable mention. Another honorable mention will be a fairly new one that I just interviewed one of the band members, Andy Sullivan from the Airport 77s. I love this album. We Realize You Have a Choice, out on Gem Records. Folks, it's absolutely stunning. Great new wave, punkish power pop on Gem Records. Just came out in September and knocked my socks off. Honorable mention. Another honorable mention is a band I've loved for a long time, and they don't have that many albums out there, and they're kind of obscure, but I highly recommend you check them out and check out their older music as well. There's like 2 or 3 other albums you need to check out. It's by a band called Starbelly, and the album is called 4. Just came out within the last couple of years, I think in 2018 or so. And folks, I cannot highly recommend this enough to you. Starbelly 4 is absolutely fabulous. Knocked my socks off. Still listen to it on heavy rotation. A fairly recent one came out in the last year or so is by ABBA. After 40 years, ABBA got back together and created a masterpiece, in my opinion, called Voyage. Absolutely stunning album. Great return to form. It's all here, folks. Everything you love about ABBA is on this album. It is absolutely wonderful. Highly recommended. ABBA, Voyage. The Darkness. You know how much I love The Darkness. Heavy rock and roll, baby. They've been around for about 20 years, but their most recent album just came out, I think, last year. It's called Motorheart, and I love it. One of their best since their, if you want to consider their heyday to be their first 2 or 3 albums, and then they've released 3 or 4 since. Well, this is their most recent one, and what a return to form for The Darkness. This is absolutely stunning. Darkness, Motorheart. Check it out. Honorable mention. Another one of my favorite, like, heavy rocking, power pop-ish bands is Enough's Enough. Love Enough's Enough. They've had many albums over the years. I have every single one of them. I love this band. And their most recent one is called Brainwashed Generation. And yeah, I think we do have kind of a brainwashed generation nowadays today. But this is their most recent album. Just came out within the last year or so. Brainwashed Generation by Enough's Enough. Just trying to cut out the glare a little bit for you. Here's the back. Here's the guys. And this is a really heavy power pop and rockin' album, folks. Check it out. Brainwashed Generation by Enough's Enough. I just did a video review of this one, and I love it. Came out of left field, and I just love it. Last year's Still Dirty by Chris Rogers and the Dirty Gems. Love it, folks. Absolutely wonderful. Knocked my socks off album. Soulful, groovy, funky. It's just rhythm and blues all the way. Greatness. Honorable mention. Okay, so that's the honorable mention pile. Now let's go to the ones that I put just a little hair above those. Albums that have come out within the last 10 years that have knocked my socks off. Thank you, Sam. First one is by one of my longtime favorite power pop bands, the Rubinoos. From Home came out just a couple of years ago. Their most recent studio album, folks, and it is absolutely amazing. I shouldn't say return to form. The Rubinoos are always great. But boy, on this newest album, they just knocked not only my socks off, my undies off too. That's that good. It's just, this is like stellar pop music, power pop, jangly rhythm and blues, melody, harmony, singing. It's all here, folks. Great. Top of the heap. I listen to this all the time. The Rubinoos, From Home. Knocked my socks off. Top of the heap pile. Wow, one of my favorite bands of all time, and they come out within the last year or two with which could be one of their best albums ever. Hit me out of left field because I love all their albums, even their most recent ones, but this newest one, I don't know, something about it just killed me. I was like, oh my goodness, this band just keeps getting better and better. I'm talking about In Another World by Cheap Trick. This knocked my socks off, folks. What a fabulous, great album. Love it to death. One of the best albums that come out in the last 10 years, in my opinion, and it is fabulous. Cheap Trick, In Another World. This one, I actually have their autographs on it, and the lead singer is now deceased, so I cherish the fact that he signed this for me. It's their final studio album, I believe, unless they do a new one. It came out in 2011. It's a little over 10 years old, Sam, I know, but this album knocked my socks off. They hadn't done an album in well over a decade. And they came roaring back in 2011 with their album called 2011 by the Smithereens, one of my favorite rock and roll bands of all time. And folks, you need this album. If you don't have any Smithereens, what's the matter with you? You need to get your head examined. Get some Smithereens. Get the best of whatever you have to do. But this is their newest album, 2011, and it is absolutely stunning. And Pat and the guys signed it for me, and I love it, folks. There's the inside. Check it out. Okay, here's the one I was talking about that's about 20 years old, but it came out as a reissued deluxe edition in 2012, and it's called Kon-Tiki is the name of the album, and the band is called Cotton Mather. Folks, this has to be one of the greatest albums that's ever come out in the history of rock and roll, in my opinion. It is that good, it is that fabulous, that wonderful, and you're going to absolutely love it. I mean, I have the regular version, I have the vinyl, colored vinyl, and then I got this deluxe edition, which came out, like I said, 10 years ago. But I had to do it, folks. It's so good. It's that good. All right. Another one. Whew. Stephen Schnee, my friend on the West Coast, told me about this one. It's the Explorers Club Grand Hotel. Came out about 10 years ago, so it still falls in that new category for me. Folks, this is absolutely stunning pop music. Sunshine Pop, Herb Alpert, Burt Bacharach, Beach Boys. It's just the greatest piece of music. So much great new stuff out there, and people are missing out on this stuff, and it breaks my heart. Grand Hotel by the Explorers Club. Get it, get it, get it. This is the one that matched Sam in his video. Wow, this album, how does a band do this? After so many decades, come roaring back, which could be, and I think it is, the best album of their entire career after decades of basically inactivity. They put out a couple albums here and there over the last 30, 35, 40 years, but they were okay. They were so-so, but not this one. This one's fabulous. The Monkees with Good Times. Could be, and I think it is, the greatest album in their whole catalog. Going back to the 60s and that first Monkees album in 66, I think Good Times ranks as their best album. How do they do it? How did Mike, Mickey, and Peter, and with a little help from Davey, after he passed away with some tapes they had of Davey, put together such a stellar, outstanding, top-of-the-heap album? I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And here it is. One of the best albums ever in the last 10 years, and here it is. All right, a new band out of New York City, which I happen to love, and their new album is coming out in a couple of months, early next year. The Midnight Callers, Red Letter Glow. My friend Robert S. just did a great video on this album, touting its wonder and beauty of rock and roll and power pop, and here it is, folks. You've got to get Red Letter Glow by the Midnight Callers, one of the best rock and roll power pop albums of the last 10 years, and there it is. And last but certainly not least is an album that really, when I heard this, when my friend Stephen Schnee told me to get this, and I did, I couldn't believe how great this album was, to the point that I have the vinyl. I've been in contact with the artist. He has sent me little notes and messages when he sends out his albums to you, just to have that personal contact with him. He's just such a great guy, a wonderful person, great human being. And that is Danny Wilkerson, and the album is Wilkerson. Folks, this could be the number one, but all these albums are great. But my album that totally knocked my socks off, the album that emotionally hits me every time I hear it, is Wilkerson by Danny Wilkerson. Folks, it's absolutely stunning. Excuse me. Stunning, wonderful piece of music. Could be one of the greatest pieces of new music that's come out in recent times in memory. So you got to check it out. But any of these, folks, any of these albums are absolutely stunning. They're absolutely fabulous. I mean, they're great, great. Folks, those are it was hard to get it down to just 3 or 4. I couldn't do it. So I had to do honorable mentions, and I had to do the main list. But I love them, folks. Love you all. Thanks to Sam for starting this thread. I'm so happy to be part of it. Take care. I'll be back with another video hopefully soon. Bye-bye.